We're continuing to see signs of a very cold and stormy December. There are a few signals though that not many people are talking about, and in this video, we're gonna look into those. It's November 19th, 2025. Let's get into the weather updates. So we've heard about La Nina, we've heard about the polar vortex, but what else is leading us to believe this December is going to be so cold and so stormy? I'm gonna cover three things today: our MJO, our current snow cover, and our current sea ice cover. Because believe me, there's a reason our models are showing such an aggressive winter storm track for December. First off, if anyone in the plains or out east wants a white Christmas, this is a great sign for you. Our extended MJO forecast straight from the Europeans suggests that we'll be entering a phase 8 in mid-December. And I've gone over this before, but it's typical with the phase 8 MJO to have below average temperature anomalies in the plains and out east. Sometimes you can actually have dry anomalies in the east, but with our current atmospheric setup, it does look like the moisture is going to be available for the East Coast a few times here in December to help to promote some big snowstorms. So what's another signal that's suggesting a very cold and wintry December that not too many people are talking about? The Siberian snow cover anomalies. Before I read this, why does the Siberian snow cover change our winter over here in North America? Let me break it down for you simply. Snow reflects sunlight, which radiates heat away from the surface, allowing the surface to cool much faster. This creates a large shallow dome of cold and dense air over Eurasia and Siberia. And as that landmass cools, it allows for a large Siberian high to form overhead. This Siberian high creates blocking in the mid-latitudes, which forces air around it, increasing atmospheric wave activity. These waves typically travel from the bottom of the troposphere up to the stratosphere. And if there's lots of early season snow, these waves are amplified. As you know, to have a strong polar vortex, we like very fast winds around its core. Well, when you have consistent amplified atmospheric waves crashing into these winds, they're gonna slow. These upward atmospheric waves can actually push on the stratospheric polar vortex from below. This all leads to more sudden stratospheric warming events. And of course, that leads to Arctic air dipping down into the mid-latitudes where we are in the US. This is an article that was posted on weather.com on October 2nd, 2025. And I'm just gonna read you a portion of it. What does the Siberian snowpack look like today? Snow cover across Siberia has been quickly increasing throughout September, according to Rutgers University. Today, much of the Russian interior between the Ural Mountains in the west and Pacific coast in the east has an above average snowpack. The few exceptions are along Russia's Arctic coastline in the north. Looking ahead at the forecast, Russia will likely see a continued increase in snowpack along its southern borders with Mongolia and China with an active storm track. This will further serve to grow the extent of Siberian snow cover as we enter October. And guess what? Our snow cover is still above average in this region. What does this promote? Again, higher chances for sudden stratospheric warming events, which is actually what we're currently seeing, and there are signs that we could actually see another SSW event in December. Here's our current stratospheric warming that's occurring, and watch what the Euro does and a lot of other models do as we move forward. We have another sudden stratospheric warming event pushing in and replacing it. You want to talk about the chance for extended cold through December? Put us in an MJO phase 8 in mid-December and have another SSW event take place. This is pretty impressive. The last signal I want to cover in this video is the Barents-Kara sea ice anomalies. This up here is our Barents-Kara Sea, or BKS for short. Now this is similar to what happens with our Siberian snow cover, but in a different way. You see, when you have less sea ice here, you have more heat and moisture being released from the ocean, which destabilizes the lower atmosphere. This creates low pressure anomalies over the BKS, which can actually strengthen the Eurasian high pressure to the south. This of course enhances the contrast between the warm oceanic air and the cold continental air. This contrast can actually generate strong planetary waves or Rossby waves in the mid-troposphere. And guess what? Just like what happens in Siberia, these waves want to propagate upwards and disrupt our polar vortex. Here was our BKS sea ice in 2023 at this time, and watch when I go to the present. Notice we have a lot of sea ice missing throughout this region here. You'll also notice it going back to 2024 in this region. There's 2024, there's 2025. The sea ice in this area has actually pulled back. Whereas closer to Siberia, Alaska, and northwestern Canada, we're actually doing better on sea ice. There's a lot of things to look at in our atmosphere, but I wanted to show you a few things that not as many people talk about. I find it very interesting, and they do have a real effect on our winter. Really quickly before I wrap up this video, let's look at our quick 2-week forecast. Here's the latest on the GFS. We still do have some cold air moving into New England, although it's dried up a little bit. We've got moisture still funneling into the southwest. That's eventually going to make its way over the plains and then out towards the east coast. As we move forward in time into Thursday and Friday, we have another storm system that's going to be moving into the southwest to replace this one that's heading off to the east. And for the most part, guys, we're pretty warm here throughout this week. We're really not going to see a big cool down, like I said, until about Thanksgiving time. So that moisture continues to funnel into the southwest and across the plains and across the Ohio Valley. We're getting a little snow out through the Rockies as well. We move into Saturday, we move into Sunday. There could be a little bit of a severe threat down here in the southern plains and then pushing up potentially through Dixie Alley or the Ohio Valley. The GFS also likes the thought of some more southern Rocky snow. This would be as we get into Sunday, Monday. And then as we push into next Monday and Tuesday, here comes our winter pattern flip. This right here, all the models are seeing it. This is when we expect our polar jet to begin to sink a little bit down into the south and our chances for winter storms to go way up. So we get into next Tuesday, Wednesday, here comes all of this cold air. We're talking 10, 20, 25 degrees below average. This is very, very cold air. And the GFS thinks we're going to have a strong low pressure pulling up the coast around the 26th, 27th, so Thanksgiving time. Now, who knows if this cold air arrives a little bit earlier, there could be some snow on the back end of this system. But this cold air is on its way for Thanksgiving. There it is, diving down to the south. And then watch what happens as we push into December 1st. We start to see a lot of moisture linking up with this polar jet here. This would be a lot of snow for a lot of people. We move forward a little bit farther into December 3rd, December 4th, and the GFS thinks, hey, why not get a southern snowstorm going? We're talking about Oklahoma City out through Nashville, potentially Charlotte. Who knows? The GFS wants to throw this snow really far to the south. We'll have to see. I do think it's going to be cold enough. We'll have to see about the moisture timing here, though. Now, our Euro sees things playing out the same way again through this weekend. And then as we get into next week, here's that cold air. It agrees with the GFS. I actually think it may get here a little bit earlier. And then again, as we get into next week, here's our pattern flipping trough that's beginning to dig down into the northwest, into the northern Rockies. The Euro does also see a lot of moisture out here on the 26th, maybe the 27th, although it looks more like around the 25th, 26th. But that cold air is diving into the south. The Euro does want to give a chance for maybe a nor'easter style setup right here on the 28th of November. This would be pretty interesting. You'd probably want your low pressure a little bit closer to the coast to get some snow along the coastal mid-Atlantic and coastal New England. And then we move out through November 29th and 30th. And actually the Europeans see something similar to the GFS. A lot of moisture linking up right here with our sinking polar jet. So a lot of snow up here for people up in the northern tier states. And then we push out towards La La Land December 3rd, December 4th. The Euro has more cold air pushing in. I mean, the winter storm track during this time frame is going to be pretty crazy. End of November, probably through the first couple weeks of December, we're just seeing these kind of non-stop amplified troughs trying to dig down through the states. We have a sudden stratospheric warming event going on. MJO phase 7 into phase 8 potentially, a weak La Nina. There's a lot going on that would promote some very cold air in December and definitely some amplified troughing. As I've said over and over, the setup for December looks good. The one question I have is, does this linger into January and February? Could we see these below average temperatures stretch through winter? Could we see these active winter storm tracks continue into January and February? I will be releasing a January outlook in a few days, so look forward to that. As always, I appreciate you guys watching this video. If you like this type of content, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. I post videos like this and live stream every single morning. And if you want to join the Climate Crew, there's a link to our Discord right down in the description of every single YouTube video and YouTube live. Again, I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in the next video or in the live stream.